Before baby arrives, the last thing I want to be stressing over is what's for dinner. So that's why I'm stocking my freezer with simple, healthy meals made from scratch. Dinners, snacks, and even dessert. Freezer meal prep does not have to mean cooking 10 different casseroles at once. So in this video, I'll show you how I'm getting it all done simply and realistically. If you're new, I'm Erica. My husband Mark and I and our 2, almost 3 kids live off-grid in Canada. We try to live a healthy and self-sufficient lifestyle, and that's what we share about in our videos. So I hope you'll subscribe to our channel. All right, let's get into the first thing I'm prepping for the freezer. I call this onion cream meat sauce, and I usually serve it over mashed potatoes, but you could also serve it over rice, noodles, or spaghetti squash. And you'll find this complete recipe in my freezer meal collection, which I will leave down below, which is just a collection of all of the meals that I make regularly for dinner, and then I freeze the leftovers. So I make a really large batch. We have it for supper. We even save some leftovers for lunch, and then we have more leftovers that I then freeze. And that is my very simple, very realistic strategy. I never, ever, ever do freezer meal prep days, but I always have multiple meals in the freezer that I can pull from when I need them. So let's talk through this particular recipe. I cut up 8 white onions, sliced them thinly, and now I am over medium-low heat, sauteing for about 20 minutes with some salt and olive oil and just stirring them occasionally. While that is going, I am starting some ground beef, 3 pounds, and just cooking that in a separate skillet until it is cooked through. And as with any ground beef recipe, you can really use any sort of ground meat. I've used ground pork, chicken, beef, venison, and all sorts of combinations of those meats. So whatever you have, it'll work fine. Once the onions are nice and soft, I'm going to add 5 cups of milk. Any type that you want to use will do. I've used cow's milk. I've used also light coconut milk. Lately, I just have this full-fat coconut milk on hand all the time from Costco. It's a really good one. And I just make like coconut milk if that's what I need for a recipe. So I just dilute it with water so it's not quite as strong and you don't notice that coconut flavor. So I add the milk to the pot with the onions, then 1 to 1.5 teaspoons of red pepper flakes, depending on your spice preferences, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of black pepper, 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, and about 3 tablespoons of freshly minced rosemary, or you could use 3 teaspoons of dried rosemary. Then I use my immersion blender to blend it up. You could blend it till it's fully smooth, or you could leave some bits of onion in there. It's up to you. And if you don't have an immersion blender, you could always just pour this into a regular blender. Then I add the meat and let it simmer over low heat for about 5 minutes, and it will thicken up, and serve it over my potatoes with a veggie side, and that is that one. I'll show you my full process for packaging these for the freezer a little bit later on, but for this meal I'm just saving the meat sauce. I'm not freezing any potatoes or veggie side because the meat is the main thing for me. Next, I'm making a healthy sweet treat, zucchini brownies with freshly milled flour. Now, if you know me, I absolutely love dessert, and I eat dessert every single night. But it's always from scratch. It's always with natural sugars and as little sugar as possible. And I have found that that has not had any sort of negative effect on my health. And I'm also looking for ways to add nutrition to my desserts wherever I can. So whether that's making it with sweet potatoes or zucchini, like in this example, adding healthy fats or extra protein through eggs or collagen powder. There's so many ways that you can make a sweet treat actually nourishing for your body. So that's what I always aim to do, and I never feel guilty about it. I always feel fine after eating it. And I always make big batches that'll last at least a couple of days, so I'm not making a from scratch dessert every single night. I'm all about making food that's actually enjoyable, but that still supports my energy and health. You can have both. And if you want to feel more energized too, I'd love for you to join my free workshop where I walk you through the 3 small, simple, but powerful steps that I took to get my energy and health back. You'll find the link for that down below. I will also type out this recipe for you in the description, but real quick, I'll tell you what the ingredients are so you can know. It is made with avocado or coconut oil, cane sugar, vanilla, fresh milled flour, but you could also just use all-purpose or whole wheat from the store too. Cocoa powder, baking soda, salt, finely shredded zucchini, and chocolate chips. The recipe fits in a 9x13 pan, and on this day we doubled it so we could have lots of extra for the freezer. A lot of you may not know that I have a blog with a lot of recipes on it. I will link it below, and it has a lot of our favorite healthy desserts there for you to check out. So all desserts with whole food, nutrient-dense ingredients that we really enjoy as a family. So if you're looking for more ideas there, check out my website. I am so pregnant right now. I don't know if you guys can tell how out of breath I am after every sentence. I'm like, but it makes me so thankful that I took the little bit of extra time and effort to put some food in the freezer, because I know it's going to make all the difference in postpartum. With my second baby, I did this, and it's just such a load off of a homemaker's shoulders when you know that you won't have to cook for a little while, but you can still enjoy warm, familiar food that you know is nourishing your body and helping you to heal in the way that you need to. So I'm looking forward to just sitting back and enjoying my baby and also enjoying this food. These brownies are so moist and chocolatey and delicious, and I just love knowing that they're packed with zucchini, which is a vegetable that's kind of hard to find good ways to use, and also fresh milled flour, which I've been learning recently about the many benefits of eating that versus store-bought flour, and I've been using it here and there, and I'll continue to share on my channel here as I find good ways to use it. I normally put my freezer items into glass containers, but if it's something like this that is totally cooled off, I have these disposable foil containers too that are just super handy for something like this. The next meal I'm making is called ground beef and quinoa skillet. And this is a totally unrelated side note, but while I was cooking this, there was this butterfly flying up to the flowers that are right against my window, trying to land on these flowers, and the poor thing couldn't figure it out. So anyway, it was kind of funny, but on with the recipe. This one is also in my freezer meal collection, and it is on my website too, so you can find it for free there. And I'll link both those down below. It is one of my favorites. It's quite simple and quick to make, but full of good ingredients, and it's yummy. I try to incorporate bone broth where I can in our diet, and since in the hot summer we don't eat many soups or stews, I try to remember to cook my rice and quinoa in bone broth just because it's a really easy way to add it into our diet without having like a winter type of meal. So this is called a skillet meal, but because I'm making such a large batch, it will not fit in a skillet. So I am using just a pot and cook the onions in the pot while I am simmering the quinoa in a different pot. And then everything will go into this pot together eventually. So the ingredients are onions, garlic, ground meat. Again, any type will really do. Fresh sage and thyme, but of course, if you don't have that, which so often I don't, I make this meal in the winter too, just use dried. And then salt and pepper and some spinach. If you have noticed the little white circle stuck to my arm, you might be wondering what that is. And it is a glucose monitor. I am such a health nerd that I've been learning a lot lately about blood glucose levels, blood sugar levels, and how all sorts of lifestyle choices affect those. And so I really wanted to just monitor mine and see how my lifestyle choices were affecting it and if I had giant spikes throughout the day or if it was pretty steady. So that was a fun experiment for me to do, and it did help me to see that a lot of the things that I've learned are true. A lot of the little hacks and ways to reduce blood sugar spikes do in fact work. So that's what that is. So for packaging my freezer meals, I always let them cool at least most of the way, and then I'll spoon them into a glass container like this. I put a piece of saran wrap over top because if I don't, then there's all this air exposure on the top because the lid doesn't press right down onto it. So just to prevent freezer burn, that's my goal. Snap the lid on, label it. With most of these, I just thaw them overnight and then reheat them in a pan, so I don't need any sort of special cooking instructions on them. But if there are some, I will, of course, write them on there. And not very pretty, but practical masking tape labels to know what they are and the date that I made them. And then they go in the freezer. And these last easily 3 to 4 months in the freezer. The next food I'm prepping for the freezer is granola bars. And I shared this recipe in a snack video about a year ago. It is my absolute favorite. It is so great because it tastes really good, but there's no added sugar. The sweetness comes from the bananas, which are the base. So many granola bar recipes have, half a cup of honey and sweetened nut butter, things like that. And I'm not against honey or nut butter, but I am against eating more sugar than I need to. And if I can enjoy something as much as I enjoy these granola bars without having the added sugar, then I am happy. And I should mention also I add chocolate chips, so that does add sugar too. But yeah, these have been our go-to for years and years. I always double the recipe, make 2 9x13s, and we have a lot to last. I made these before my second baby was born, and I remember after she was born, my midwife asking if she could grab something from the kitchen for me to eat. And I told her, oh yeah, there's some granola bars in the freezer. And so she went away for a little while, and she came back and she's like, I can't find any granola bars in the freezer. And I realized, oh yeah, most people when they think of a granola bar, they're thinking of a packaged granola bar. She's probably looking for a packaged granola bar. So I had to explain a little bit more. They're just in a giant Ziploc bag. And then she found them after that. Anyway, that was kind of a funny realization. When you cook from scratch all the time, sometimes you forget that other people don't make everything from scratch, which is totally fine. It was just a funny moment. But these are really good snack to have on hand, especially as a nursing mom when you are just ravenous in the middle of the night. I know it's not ideal to have something kind of carby and a little bit sugary like this, but it has been a lifesaver for me many times. I cut each pan into 18 bars, so with 2 pans I have a total of 36 bars, and I put them, like I said, just into a big Ziploc bag. And I see other people individually wrapping each bar before they put it in the bag, and that is totally not necessary, at least with these bars. They last for a month or two just fine in the freezer in the Ziploc bag. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it gave you some ideas or inspiration, or at least the idea that you don't have to spend an entire day to have freezer meals all the time in the freezer. We make a new video every week, so I hope you'll subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.